What's going on, guys? I am Kevin. Welcome to Cinephellas, and I am here to tell you that this is the last segment for 2024 movies of Seven with Kevin. I would like to thank Logan for basically editing all this stuff. It's been a lot of work, and I appreciate him. I'd like to thank you, the viewers, for basically tuning in. And now, without further ado, let's start and find out what were the last seven movies that I watched from 2024. Here we go. Okay, so we start off this final list with a film from Woody Allen, and it's his 50th film to be exact. The guy's been in the game for a really long time, and while he isn't as popular as he was when I started watching film back in like the 90s, he still is a legend in his own right. Annie Hall in 1977 was the film that beat Star Wars for Best Picture, even though I don't really agree with that. Star Wars is a much better film. Unfortunately, Woody Allen has been in a lot of controversy for the unfortunately is for the film world because, I like his writing. I'm a big fan of how, his style and everything. It's very simplistic but effective. The same thing with his directing and the way his film looks. So, in result of him not having a solid reputation here, he went over to France and took one of his scripts and basically had it translated into French. And we have Coup de Chance. I hope I said that right, but in English, it is A Stroke of Luck. Also, with Woody Allen movies, you have female characters who are brilliantly written, and numerous actresses have won awards either in the supporting category or the leading category for being part of his movies. I always think jokingly that Woody Allen girls are like Bond girls. Like, oh my God, who's going to be the new Woody Allen girl in the new Woody Allen movie? This time we have French actress Lou Delage. I'm sorry if you're watching and I mispronounced your name, but Lou Delage is the lead here, and we have a story of infidelity. We have a story of marriage and class. It's basically everything that you know Woody Allen for, and it's well done. I'm not going to say it's a terrible movie, but as a long time watcher of his films, it's just more of the same thing. And even the ending is like, oh my God, I can't believe they redid an ending from a film 20 years old. I won't tell you which one. If you are a movie fan, you'll know which one I'm talking about. This is mid Allen, in my opinion. Again, not a terrible movie. If this is your first Woody Allen film, you may latch on to the style of everything. But again, for me, it was just, more of the same. And I'm going to give this one 2.5 out of 5 Woodman hairpieces. Largos Lathimos uses his cred along with the cred of Emma Stone and to produce a film mythology structure. So all the stories in this movie deal with people who are not the best representations of humans, but they're the most fun to watch, right? We have Emma Stone, we have William Dafoe, Joe Allen, Hunter Schafer, and Jesse Plemons, and also Margaret Qualley here. Jesse Plemons won, I think, it was the Venice Film Festival for this film. He plays 3 different roles, and he's not as good as the winner of the last year's Oscar, Adrien Brody, or the runner-up, Timothy Chalamet, but he is good. I enjoyed him. Plemons is a person I think is going to blow up very soon. Like, you could tell that he is kind of on the line of becoming an A-lister and I guess a B-plus lister. Here he plays pathetic, he plays comedic, and he plays shady, all very well. The other actresses here play into the weirdness of the director who did Poor Things Last and got Emma Stone her second best actress Oscar. The whole production value, the directing, the acting, everything is great, but the overall feeling of this movie was weird, and I feel that it almost 3 hours. This thing is too long, way too long, and I feel that at times this movie was just trying to be weird for weird's sake. But there are a few good gags. There is a gag involving a VHS tape in the second story that I really found funny. But overall, it's okay. It's fine. It's not terrible, but considering the team behind this movie, I expected a lot more. And again, it just becomes eccentric for the sake of being eccentric. And I'm going to give this one 2.5 out of 5. What the fuck hair pieces. If I was going to do a theme for this set of videos, I'd probably be ranking them from the one top of like what I'm most curious to watch to like I don't want to watch this and I'm going to, but I really don't want to do it. And if we were doing that kind of list, Mufasa would be very high on the curiosity scale. If you've been a part of this site and you've been following us, you've been listening to the podcasts, you know that I despise the 2019 remake of The Lion King. I think the 1994 original is the peak of Disney animation, the songs, everything was incredible there. But they took everything in that 2019 remake that made the 1994 one so special, and they basically ripped everything good out of it. And I hate that movie. I really do. Second, they got Barry Jenkins, and Barry Jenkins is the director of one of my favorite films, Moonlight, which won the Oscar in 2016. And you kind of wonder what made him do this because he this is kind of like not his forte. He's usually into very prestige productions or things with themes and deep history, specifically Black history. But you realize how Hollywood works, and he probably got a nice paycheck for this because it's a Disney film. How is it? How is the film underneath Barry Jenkins's direction? And I'm here to tell you that it is better than the 2019 version. And the one thing that Jenkins does right is that he makes the animals emotive. The remake of the 2019 Lion King, all the animals look too real. And I think director Jon Favreau, he was more concerned with keeping it so realistic. But the problem is animals don't have emotive faces like humans. So that pivotal scene where Simba watches Mufasa die in the cartoon, it is sad because you see the expression on Simba's face. And if you watch videos online, they have animals watching that, and the animation is so good that the animals react to what is going on screen by being very curious or basically letting out whimpers. It's great videos. There are a bunch of them. But that's the first thing Jenkins does right. The animals here are more emotive. They look real still, but their faces look very cartoony. And the animation is very good. It is breathtaking at times. But the animation does screw up a little when these animals fight. It becomes very video game-ish. It kind of took away with that for me. Other than that, the music's all right. Lin-Manuel Miranda, the guy's everywhere. He's doing everything for Disney. His songs range from mundane to forgettable. What I did like about this movie was that Mufasa is raised by female lions, and in turn, he becomes a better hunter since the female lions in a pride are responsible for hunting and killing and bringing the food, while the male basically just kind of protects the kingdom. And I thought that was a pretty cool way of, like, I guess, the catalyst for the Scar and Mufasa relationship that starts off pretty nicely, but obviously you've seen the original or the crappy 2019 remake, they become foes by the end of this movie and the beginning of The Lion King. Overall, not as bad as I thought it was going to be. A lot better than the 2019 version, but still forgettable. And I'm going to give this one 2.5 out of 5. I didn't hate it like I hated the remake hairpieces. Okay, so Sonic 3 is my next one. And this is a successful franchise that I think is going to keep going. We have Sonic, we have Tails and Knuckles, and this time we have Shadow, played by Keanu Reeves. Also, one of the things I don't like about this franchise is Jim Carrey. And listen, Jim Carrey is awesome. He was one of my idols or heroes or basically a movie star that I loved to watch when I was a kid. Totally wrong for Robotnik. You're not watching Robotnik, you're watching Jim Carrey. Personally, I would have probably I probably would have picked Paul Giamatti. He has the right anger and he has the look that I associate with Robotnik growing up with the Sonic games. But surprisingly, I don't know. Maybe I was going in with this saying like, oh, I have to put up a Jim Carrey, but I don't know. Jim Carrey didn't annoy me that much in this movie. He's still doing Jim Carrey, but it's not as bad. And there are two Jim Carreys because he runs into the older version of Robotnik. Like I think it's his grandfather in the movie, but there are two Robotniks here, and it didn't annoy me. So maybe they basically maybe gave notes to Jim Carrey, but I didn't hate it. The characters, the look of the film, it's all fun, it's all colorful, it's all expressive. Keanu Reeves is okay. Listen, we love Keanu Reeves, but the guy doesn't really have that much range, and you kind of see it here, or maybe hear it, I should say. He's great as John Wick, or fighting, doing everything, looking cool. But when he has to act without the reliance of being the title character, in that case of John Wick, he struggles a little bit. And I love Keanu. I'm not going to say, hey, Keanu, he's not a terrible actor, but he's just very, I guess, very mundane in this film. But again, love him. Yeah, so everything else is great. I had a good time. I think this is the perfect family movie. Idris Elba is Knuckles, and I actually enjoy his interpretation of Knuckles. And yeah, that is basically how I felt about Sonic. And overall, I'm going to give this one 3 out of 5 blue hair pieces. Okay, so next is Horizon, an American Saga Part 1. This is a planned four movie picture deal. This one has been filmed, obviously, and I know the second one has been filmed, but since the first one was a huge bomb, I don't think 3 and 4 is going to really come. I hope it does because I enjoy the aesthetic and the authenticity of what Costner does here. He's always been good at westerns, and you're just seeing a master at work doing all this. And Costner as the movie star, he doesn't come in until like an hour into this film, but I was still invested in the characters. We got Jenna Malone here. We got Luke Wilson. Yeah, Will Patton, Michael Rooker, and Vecna from Stranger Things. Jamie Campbell Bower and Sam Worthington, not in the blue avatar makeup. There's a lot going on here. This thing feels like it could have been a really good streaming movie, but Costner was adamant about putting it on the big screen. But by having so much going on, it's going to frustrate the average viewer who are not movie people. They're going to get lost or they're going to not care. And in result, I think that's what happened at the box office. People are like, there's so much going on here. Like, and there are 4 more parts of this. I think this would have been a better streaming service kind of thing. But again, if you are into westerns, this is like heroin because greatly it has a great production value. Everything here looks authentic. The cinematography is beautiful, showing the best of America. But again, you know, are we going to see the completion of this saga in some type of form, maybe like a TV series or maybe a book or a comic? I really want to see this because I did enjoy this movie, and I'm going to give this one 4 out of 5 cowboy hair pieces. Luca Guadagnino made 2 films in 2024. He made Challengers, which I think is one of the best films of the year. I will be talking about that one in the best of 2024. And he made Queer, which is as artistic, but a little more subdued than Challengers. Daniel Craig really surprised me here in a good way on how far he was willing to make this role his own and respect the gay culture. He plays an aging gay man who chases younger gay men, and this is in the 50s. So, you do have men who are out and basically, pride themselves on being out. And this is also Mexico City. This is in America. And this film has it all. It's wonderfully acted, it's well scripted, and the director employs really cool tricks to make this movie have a very cinematic and beautiful feel to it. Many of the buildings that you see and many of the structures that you see in this thing are miniatures. I highly suggest after you finish this video that you go to YouTube and you type in queer miniatures. And some of the miniatures I saw, and some of them I'm like, oh my god, that's incredible special effects. And those are the best kind of special effects. Is like it basically is hidden so well that you don't know what you're watching is not there. And as they said, the movie doesn't pull any punches with homosexuality. It is very in your face. There are a lot of sex scenes and there are a lot of innuendos of what's going on in those sex scenes. And again, I was very shocked, but also, surprised that Craig went there, and he does a great job. He's a very broken character. He could have made this a straight guy and chasing young women. It doesn't matter. It doesn't, like, this is just a broken guy who has basically dedicated his life by filling the hole of his personality or who he is with basically sex and chasing younger men. Atticus Ross and Trent Reznor do the score, and they fit it really well. There are parts in this that are very haunting. The first hour is more kind of like a character build, and the second hour is showing those characters and putting them in a situation. That is where Atticus Ross and Trent Reznor's score really shines, because you start to see the breakdown of Daniel Craig's character and the fire inside and the confusion of what he goes through. While I like Challengers a little bit more than this film, that is not a knock against this film. I can't wait to see what this director does next. I know he has the movie After the Hunt coming out this year with Andrew Garfield and Julia Roberts. I will be there Thursday night because I really love what this guy brings to cinema. This movie is great. Again, if the homosexuality bothers you, don't even bother. But if you can get past that, you will see a movie that is a joy to watch and something that movie guys like me love to see. And I'm going to give this one 4.5 out of 5. Great job, Daniel Craig hair pieces. Okay, so what is the final film that I watched in 2024? And it happens to be the best one that I did basically watch out of the list. And it is called The Fire Inside. Written by Barry Jenkins, second time today I've mentioned this guy. It tells the story of the Olympic boxer Clarissa Shields, who basically kicked ass at the Olympics. But her story starts at Flint, Michigan, where she is fighting with herself and fighting with the environment. Her coach, played beautifully by, again, I've mentioned this guy. He was in Transformers 1, and I love him, and I loved him here. Brian Tyree Hill is her coach, and he adds that warmness, that toughness, that father energy that he does, that Clarissa doesn't have in her life. And, I like that Jenkins basically wrote what his life is like, too. Yeah, he knows everything about boxing, but he is also struggling to make ends meet. Even though Jenkins did not only wrote this one, we have great directing by Rachel Morrison, someone I've never heard of, but she brings out a lot of the conflict and the struggle, because you would think that Clarissa, being this high-profile boxer, she appeared in many Olympics, that she would be living the high life and she would be easy. No. That's what this makes this movie special, because most movies like this only show the rise and the eventual victory. You do get that here, but you also get what happens after that win and how not everything is rose-colored after you win the big title. Yeah, and Ryan Destiny stars as Clarissa, and I thought she was fantastic. She can kick ass. She is convincing at being a boxer. She is vulnerable when the movie needs her to be vulnerable. And it is just a great performance. I highly suggest you watch this movie. And I'm going to give this one 4.5 out of 5 tough girl hair pieces. All right, guys, that's it. I can't believe it. Again, guys, thank you very much for watching. I know that I geek out a lot, and these videos are proof of me geeking out on film. I love talking to you guys about everything that you've seen and stuff that you may haven't. And I'm looking forward to 2025. There's a lot of good stuff that I've already seen in 2025, but there's also a lot of stuff I can't wait to see. And again, I will be here to talk about it through single video reviews. And when 2026 rolls around, I'll be doing another one of these lists. I'm going to try to shorten it this year, because this 2024 year was probably the longest list I had to catch up on. I was watching it on treadmills. I was watching it late night. I had to work for this one. But again, I really appreciate you guys coming here and watching me talk about film. Yeah, so now that I've finished the 2024 film slate, I'm going to make my best and worst lists. I already wrote them. They're all good. I just got to film the videos. If you want to see me or my colleagues here, come to Cinephellas.com. We are also on X, Facebook, and Instagram. You can also come to the site, watch video reviews by myself, Logan, Henry, Bob, or Niall. We got to get Armando back too. Anyway, guys, thank you so much, and I will catch you later. And as we say on this website, I am Kevin Muller, and cheers.